pretty much what I initially thought. They're moving on. But I am not moving on from you. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I'm live in San Francisco, California. And I got to get rid of this media image. And remember, in the words of Douglas Adams, don't panic. And also, I would like to quote God from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, his final message to his creation. We apologize for the inconvenience. Hello, everyone. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. I'm feeling pretty good. Working on 4.5 hours sleep, so I think I've officially reached old man territory now, where I'm going to start waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and reading the newspaper and listening to my AM radio. That's what my dad used to do when he got old. Although my dad wasn't old for very long, which kind of sucked. But my grampy did that too. We got Edgar, BM, Martin J, Man of Sand, another Gen 42, Hyperion 5182, Captain Scarlet, the Green Laser, Nihilus, Man of Sin, which I read before, Marion, Mark Mellot, Ek Khan, Black Ball. Well, I guess it's better than Black Balls. I don't know, John Nola, and Sassy Marie, who is a member, and Miriam, who is a member as well. Thank you. The Storm, Martin J, Bagman, The Talons of Wang Chang, which, I mean, oh my God, that name is so not politically correct. They're going to so cancel that show. Soul Diver 66, that's an episode of Doctor Who, folks. Elizabeth Lyons, The Cheese Factor, David Gill, Flower Angel 1070, I'm an idiot. Of course. Care for a Jelly Baby. Desiree Clary, who is a member. Welcome and greetings, everyone. And yo, North Star. How's it going? So we've got stuff to talk about. Here's what we're going to start out with, and I'll repeat this later as people roll in. Of course, we had on the 17th the announcement of the new Warriors and the Snowflake and Safe Space from Daniel Kebblesmith, who is just a man's man, shall I say. And he took his opportunity at Marvel to help divide the fans, which I did a video about. And a lot of creators have done that over the years, many, many years. This goes way back. I was thinking the other day, I don't think he was the first person canceled, but he was one of the first people canceled, John Byrne, for making a little saucy remark about Jessica Alba in the Fantastic Four on a forum, and he just got destroyed. Now, if he had done it today, I don't think he'd ever work. He still gets work once in a while, but as he should. But, it was that sense of humor that apparently was okay. Remember that edgy humor on Twitter was like okay up until about 2015, I think. And now, creatives have been attacking fans for this long. And, of course, DC, not to be outdone by Marvel, decides to come out with Gotham High. A lot of people have done videos. I don't think I'm going to do a video on it. It's a graphic novel. It's awful. It's YA. And I'll tell you the difference, which you probably know, between Safe Space and Snowflake and stupid Gotham High. Of course, it destroys Batman. I will argue that it can't do any more damage than Tom King did in the actual book, because we have ballless Batman now. So I think if you want to get upset over something, look up what Tom King has done to Batman in the Batman book, in Batman canon. That is far worse than what a little Gotham High side tale. Now, it's stupid, it's cringe, and the timing of the announcement is horrible, and we will discuss it. We're going to go over it. I don't like it. I think it's lame as hell. I don't know who's going to buy it. That's the thing. Snowflake and Safe Space was a middle finger to the fandom. Gotham High is detachment with the fandom. They have just no idea. They're just putting stuff out because they still think YA is the answer for comics, where here we are at the freaking end, and they're still pumping out YA shit like people actually buy it, like people actually want it. And of course now, because some people have made videos about it, there's going to be some access media sites who are going to review it and say, it's the greatest thing ever. And to hell with those alt-right Yahtzees. You buy Gotham High. I mean, like, and they don't actually enjoy the stuff. They just want to, I don't know, repercussion buy or revenge buy. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. But that's what they're doing. And it's, you know, it's just lame. And it shows that the people who are at these companies are out of ideas because they didn't have any in the first place, maybe. It doesn't seem like a genuine comic book idea that anybody would. I mean, I would just roll my eyes at this at the shop and not order any. And of course, I would have one rando customer buy it because they are a completist and they have to have everything with the word Batman in it. And they would buy it and not read it, but it would be in their Batman collection as a novelty. They probably wouldn't even take it seriously either. They'd probably laugh at it. I did that. I bought anything Spider-Man, as stupid as it was. It reminds me of a comic book by Mark Millar called Trouble. If you guys remember that. It came out about 10 years ago, and it was about a young Aunt May as a saucy little wench. And we'll look at the cover later. So, I mean, this stuff has been happening for a long, long time. Okay, it's not as bad as Snowflake and Safe Space, but the timing is as bad. I completely agree, considering how DC has treated the comic shops. And the only thing I care about is how this relates to comic shops. The comic book, the creators, listen, the creators, no offense to any artists or writers out there who work professionally. Some of you do understand the industry, and I know who you are. But most of you, as far as when it comes to selling comic books to customers at a store, don't know dick. Okay? You were the last. I mean, I put a tweet up to Donnie Cates. He might be a good writer at Marvel or great to some people, but he would be the last person on earth I would ask about anything as it relates to selling comic books in a store, comic book retailing. The very last. I would pull a stranger off the street where English is their second language and ask them a question about retailing before I would talk to Donnie Cates. Please. And you know what? Like, I don't know. I would be probably the last person you would ask about, art in a comic book, other than I know what I like. But there we go. So we have that. We have DC's silence over these. This is where the sun comes in. So I'm going to get a little reflective light off my drawing table here. DC's silence, and they finally broke their silence with the worst possible news. They have decided to divide the comic shops, which is just ridiculous. And I will read you the latest post from Brian Hibbs' Facebook. This was for March 28th at 7:11 p.m. I'm sure he loves me reading his Facebook posts on my videos, but trying to help, man. Trying to help. Although I've been told this person will remain anonymous that they don't want my help, but you're going to get it anyway. DC's announcement is disgraceful. By separating stores into have and have-nots, they are going to hasten many stores' demise. And they are encouraging retailers to violate stay-at-home orders and risk their health for corporate profits. Further, not in the announcement, but buried in comments in the retail threads, how disgusting and cowardly, they are not going to halt digital release of new books. This is a dire mistake, and even a tiny amount of cross-channel conversation will put the majority of retailers in enormous economic peril when coupled with the above. Well, yes, it'll put the content out there. I think there's still an amount of tangibility, and let me read the rest of the statement. I think he's upset, so he put been twice in there. I have never been more emphatically disheartened and disappointed by a so-called partner. More soon, Brian Hibbs, Comics Experience, Comic Outpost Experience, the guy who bought my shop. Kind of the voice of the retailer, one of the voices, one of the bigger voices of retailers, has been for years. He's only ever worked in comic shops in his life. So, I mean, he is a lifer and he knows what he's talking about. When it comes to retailing and numbers and stuff, the guy knows his shit. So DC, this is disappointing because DC was always better to the comic shops than Marvel was. This goes way back. There was a guy named Bob Wayne. He used to own a comic shop. He used to work for DC. And yeah, they were just more sympathetic to comic shops and they would be a lot nicer to deal with. They used to fly comic shop owners down to LA and have little chats with them, but that's all gone. It's clear that this is a desperation move, by the way, and this is an AT&T move, and this is my speculation at this point, and the fact that they're full steam ahead, we're going to go into business when they have nobody to print their comics, nobody to get their comics to shops. They're going to go outside. We're going to read the article. I'm very curious as how this is going to happen when the president just extended the it's going to go past Easter and it's going to go for another month into May, which means my city is going to be locked down. So that's 8 shops you're not going to be able to sell to. And I'm thinking most of California will be in lockdown. And that's a lot of shops you're not going to be able to sell to. You can't sell to any shops in LA. I don't know what the situation is in San Diego, but I imagine it's similar. And then who's going to want to come to a comic shop? I mean, you're talking pennies on the dollar here, DC. This is a petty ass stupid move. Just pause. Just pause like everybody else and wait and see. Maybe we can ramp this thing up sooner because, I mean, I don't talk about the situation will not be named. I'm here to take your mind off it, but I'll talk about it as it relates to this. It's already too late for some shops. We're already past the point of no return. I haven't seen any announcements, but I haven't really looked. I've been, busy doing live streams and stuff, but this is disappointing from DC. I would expect this from Marvel. So shame on you, DC. And release the Snyder Cut. Release the goddamn Snyder Cut. Let's get to you guys real quick, and we'll get to more. Well, I don't want to bore you too much, but I do want to kind of go over what DC's plan is. I'm sure it's great. Their statement, they finally had a statement. I went over it a little bit in my video, and it essentially said, we're in business. We're working from home. We're still making comic books. Now, if they would have put in there, we're making comic books for later, and everything's returnable now, I don't see what good returnability does at this point because they can't order anything. And when this opens back up, and it will, I mean, it's hard to put a number on it, but I'm going to say, comic shop customers, it really depends to the individual shop. My customers were very loyal to me for a long, long time. So if they have a good owner who's nice that they like, they'll support that owner and the subscribers will come in. But it's the walk-ins. It's the walk-ins that you rely on, that you need. That's the other half of your income. That's gone. I mean, come on. Let's be real. And then, what are they going to come out with? Okay, you're full steam ahead and you're making Gotham High, which will sell what? Midtown Comics will probably buy 100 and they could probably return them. But again, if it was my shop, I wouldn't order any unless a customer specifically asked me, and then I would order it for that customer. I would not put that crap on my shelf. Again, I had a kids section, but I didn't put the Marvel or DC kids books in there because they were dumbed down and they're stupid. So I just put older comics, older Bronze stuff, used trade paperbacks of Bronze era or 80s era comics and marked it down. I had a spinner rack that I bought a bunch of Bronze reprints like World's Greatest Comic Magazine and Classic X-Men and which were from the 80s and just the Bronze reprints. And then I would put them in there and they'd be 25 cents to 12 and under. 12 and over, they were $1. You can get what was it? You can get what was the deal I said? It was $1 or you can get 5 for $1. Yeah, or it was $1 or you can get 5 for $1 if you were under 12. Had a lot of kids coming in. It was good. Because, I was the one store that was superhero friendly. All the other stores wanted to be kind of edgelords, we're actually like a comic library, or we're, Isotope Lounge was pretty cool. But yeah, it was always like, I don't know, lean towards indie. There was so many of those. There was a glut of them here because it's San Francisco, hipsterville. So I went dorky superhero. I thought that would work. There's another shop off Geary that does the superhero stuff too, but they're really overpriced. But they sell hot toys and stuff. They're still there. Well, it's God, I hate going to freaking Bleeding Cool. It kills me to do this. With apologies to Bleeding Fool, which is a much better site. But yeah, there's nothing new, but let's go to this DC announcement here and then I'll get to you guys. Oh, let's get by the 5,000 ads. All right, DC Comics, and I can show you this. Help their advertisers a little bit. Not that I want to. There we go. DC Comics distributes to comic shops without Diamond. LITG March 29, 2020. DC Comics announced that they will distribute methods besides, they will use other distribution methods besides Diamond Comics distributors to get into comic shops during the the Voldemort, and also announced they will publish a weekly selection of digital comics, a run around the day before and the day ahead, plus news about an upcoming X-Men Archangel statue and more. Who cares? What? Is that news? DC published. Yep. They're okay. Is this an April Fool's joke? Is this an April Fool's? DC published selection of digital comics on Wednesday, April 1st. Let's see what we got here. Wow. Damn. A selection? Holy crap. Which titles will be chosen? Is unclear, but the original plan for this Wednesday would have included the following. I understand that the selection hasn't entirely been settled upon. Here is the list that we had. It might include a certain cover feature of Punchline. Okay, so if you're going to release Batman, your top book, then release them all. Screw it. You're screwing over the comic shops at this point. You are. And you know what? That's where it's a little bit of a conundrum for me, because, if the customer wants the comic, I'm going to have to side with the customer on this one. Sorry. Sorry, comic shops, but this is free market. This is a free market at work. It sucks for the comic shop, and that's why it's up to the individual comic shops to figure out a workaround. And I think a lot of them had relied a lot less on new releases. And if getting a digital book first is going to kill your shop, that tells you how healthy the industry was in the first place. Why is the industry this weak? Well, a lot of reasons. Digital is one of them. Individual comic shop owners relying too much on Diamond and not coming together with a singular voice to fight against what was going on with the two big publishers is another reason. And the creators alienating thousands of fans. That's another reason. It's an extremely weak industry that's going to fall apart at this point. I don't know how Diamond gets supported by 1,000 comic shops, which, we'll be lucky if that's how many are left. Like my shop, for instance, my old shop. I bet Brian's going to close it. That's 2 employees. And if you think about it, think about the big cities where everybody's all, hey, the big cities are going to have comic shops. I don't know. The minimum wages in these big cities is awfully high. It's awfully high. It's $15 an hour here, and it's going to head towards 20 at some point. And right now, $15 an hour to an employee is essentially $18 an hour. That's what you'd be paying out. Yeah, I think this is just horrible. Horrible. It's a bad situation. But this would have happened eventually. This just hastened it, you know. I still don't know how they're going to manage to... Since the Diamond Comics distributor shut down and the closure of DC's printer, there has been discussion wondering what DC and Marvel Comics will be doing regarding comic book publishing this coming week. A number of publishers have declared that they will suspend publication, print, and digital, while many comic stores are also shut down, but DC Comics has remained resolutely silent regarding the issue. That changed tonight as they announced something very different to retailers. And they announced it through the news. First, the entire team at DC hopes everybody is fine. And we hope we can still ship you comics even though you can't open your store. Oh, I'm sorry. We know that you have been waiting for DC to comment on the state of affairs and to address any measures we will take to help our community lighten the burden of the disruption to business, and we've been working hard on a long-term plan. I hope so. I mean, this is days. You know, it's funny. Steven Crowder this morning on his morning show in jest said, "Is there any?" He was, you know, because the private industry has been helping out a lot, and he jested, "Is there anything the government did faster than private industry?" I'm all, excuse me, Mr. Crowder. Mr. Crowder, the government acted faster than Diamond and DC. That's the only two. Everybody else was great. You're right, Steven, on everybody else except for Diamond and DC, which actually acted slower than the government and the World Health Organization, which is... Sorry. Something got my throat. Something got full of shit. Sorry. Excuse me. Periodicals and books with in-store dates between March 18th, 2020 and June 24th, 2020 will be fully returnable. Well, that's great. That's awesome. What if I can't get the books? Can I just cancel my orders? Can you just well, Diamond did handle that. You can hold the account. So who are you selling to, DC? Will even provide credit for your separate return shipping of these items only. Okay, that's fine. I think the last thing people want is credit. I don't think they want to hear that word right now. Additionally, because we anticipate that continued disruption to business operations will create regional validity. I can't read. DC is exploring a multi-distributor model to provide us with the flexibility needed during this crisis. Crisis in multiple comic shops. Did you like that? I should have put that in the title. To get new content to our readers on an ongoing basis. In the short term, we continue to engage in active conversations. We're having conversations, everybody. Diamond has a survey. DC's having conversations with Diamond to help us solve the distribution issue. I hope you extended their credit that has arisen and hope to get new product to stores that we want or need it as soon as possible. We will provide additional information about how we'll make that happen in the coming days. Thanks for your patience with us. DC will continue to monitor the situation and continue to speak to you directly and continue to support you through the days ahead. You are the lifeblood of this industry. All the best, the DC team, not Jim Lee. All the best, not Jim Lee. Jim Lee has shown incredible leadership during this time of crisis. Maybe he's off drawing Wildcats #2 or All-Star Batman and Robin #12. I don't know. Maybe he's hard at work on that. That's kind of his Snyder Cut. Well, no, because it'll never come out. But release the Snyder Cut exists. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. DC, you're pathetic. So, okay, this was a message that says we're going to come out with another message. That was kind of like Diamond's message. And when Diamond came out with that other message, it was, we're shutting down. DC's, we're full steam ahead, which means they're going to go digital. They're just going to do digital. That's it. Disappointed in you, DC. But Gotham High will save the comic shops. Oh, my God. Jack Napier, Selena Kyle, Bruce Wayne. Oh, and by the way, Thomas Wayne, he wasn't the rich one. It was Martha. And somehow Bruce Wayne is Asian now. It's funny. Come on. It's now they're just being stupid. They were dumb until the bitter end. You almost have to admire their stupidity to be that resolute. Like, I'll set myself on fire rather than be wrong, but you were wrong. That's the thing. Just really, if you just could have moved on, if creators would just come out and go, listen, I got caught up in it. I was trying to go along with the crowd. It's a big clique here at DC and Marvel, and I wanted to keep my job, and they made it pretty clear that if you made a centrist comment on Twitter, they would run you out and call you a Yahtzee. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm sorry to the fans. Forgive me. I just want to make comics. I was trying to keep my job. And things were good for a while, and we were starting to smell our own farts. We got caught up in our own egos, and now we are humbled. We want to keep our jobs. We don't want to hurt any stores. We don't want to divide the customers anymore. Everybody has a right to their opinion. I'll ignore little mean tweets from people with like listen, if you got, I don't mean to minimize people with 3 followers. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that, what? Somebody with 25,000 followers says something, like Gail Simone. She's weaponized her followers before, but mostly just ignore that stuff. And I don't care how many followers somebody has. I ignore it when I'm called an a-hole or told to get therapy or something like that. It's like, you know what? I've had a lot of therapy, by the way. Thank you very much. And and it's worked. So great. And I continue it to this day. And you just let it roll off. You had one of the best jobs in the world. You were drawing funny books for a living. You weren't digging ditches. You weren't picking up poop on the streets of San Francisco. You weren't, moving outhouses, which are, great jobs, and they pay great, and I respect anybody who does it. So I don't mean to minimize that either, but I'm trying to tell the comic book writers and artists to be fracking grateful. Gratitude. I should put them all in the 12-step program, get them all sponsors, and make them write gratitude lists every goddamn day. I was there. I was an entitled, whiny biatch, thinking everything that was wrong in my life was everybody else's fault until I realized it was mine. And I realized that through doing the steps, talking to people, going to therapy, and writing gratitude lists every day, once a day, for 90 days in a row. And I still do them once in a while. It's good to do. It's very healthy practice. And your bitchy nature has unintended consequences. Like I said in my video, it hurts a lot of people. It hurts Feisty Fan, who works at a comic shop. It hurts my friend Jamie, who owns a comic shop. It hurts Brian Hibbs. Brian Hibbs agrees with y'all. He agrees with y'all, and you still hurt him, and he still backs you up. I don't know why, and that's part of the problem. But, the retailers, again, own some responsibility. I'm sorry, but, you had the power. You guys actually had the power. Look what you did with digital. You got them to bend the knee with digital. Why didn't you get them to bend the knee on other stuff? You bitched about the Walmart thing, which I thought was dumb, personally. I think putting comics in Walmarts, I've said it before, in 7-Elevens in a spinner rack, comic book fan makers, not comic book fan takers. Most everyone from my generation bought a comic at a 7-Eleven or a newsstand. That should be allowed again. I think if if the pamphlet is going to survive, which I don't think it will, it's going to have to be fully returnable, and they're going to have to go back to strip cover, back to pulp, cheap ass paper. Everybody's talking about expensive paper. No, cheap ass paper. If you're going to go with the pamphlet. Now, if you're going to go prestige books from now on and reduce your titles to, what's the number? 20 a month? 10 a month? I don't know, 30 a month, $10 books. You get the best of the best, and a lot of artists are out of, like the Heather Antoses of the world will be gone. That charity drive will be over. And you'll have to get like real talent. Like, I don't know, John Byrne's still out there. Chuck Dixon might get some work again. Although, why would he want it? Why would Chuck Dixon go back? I don't know. They don't deserve him. I don't know. I don't know. Sean Gordon Murphy will probably be fine. If you're, I would say he's one of the talents that's going to be just fine. Tom King, he was, I don't know if he's going to be fine. Does anybody want to read Tom King or Brian Michael Bendis anymore? Especially in a prestige book. Those guys do the big, long, boring ass story. Yeah, you know what? I thought Tom King was great at first too. I fell into that too, but we're all wrong at some point. And I was a Bendis fan for the longest time. I loved his Daredevil, but he's lost it too. Mark Waid's lost it. And yeah, maybe, and then there's the Indiegogo, which I think Indiegogo and Kickstarter, which can be legit competition now, and now's their time. This is your moment. Go get them. But I think there is a paradigm shift. Kevin Smith talked about it with Mark Bernard, and in that live stream, I put my video, and they discussed possible print on demand, again, like the $10 prestige book. I thought it would go more to like a novel thing where, you get releases on, maybe they change the release day to Tuesday, and you just get a couple of brand new graphic novels every week or whatever. I don't know. And that's going to be the shops that can support it. And will there be customers to support the shop? Will there be customers to support Midtown Comics? The longer this goes, the more questionable that gets. Now, Midtown Comics, I went there for the first time at New York Comic Con. A great shop. It looks strong. They got their crap together. It's no Mile High, but Mile High will survive it all. And so will Brian Hibbs, I believe. All right, let's get to you guys a little bit. Again, the sun is reflecting, so I'm sure this looks great. Oh yeah, it's a little reflective there. How nice. Oh, and then we're also going to talk about Picard. I'm in the middle. Well, I'm not in the middle. I have exactly, let's take a look. How much do I have recorded on my review? I think I have 3 minutes recorded, and it took me hours to do that. It's pathetic. I know it's pathetic. As says from Heels versus Babyface, I am playing with my food. On to you. Good morning, everyone. It's morning here on the West Coast. Sent you a DM, new Bounding into Comics article, DC trying to save the retailers. Are they saving the retailers by not distributing to them or distributing to some of them? Is it hang on. Is it different news from this? I will check it. Hang on a second, folks. Sorry. Self-produced show. Thank you, Candace, by the way. Oh, I hit 230,000 subscribers last night. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. There we go. Oh, wow. That's a big picture. I don't want the big picture. I want that. All right. So, as the publisher stated in a letter to retailers Saturday saying that they are going to pursue alternative, and that's what I was talking about earlier. That's not going to save comic shops. So again, let me read you Brian Hibbs' response to DC's solution, which is, it echoes my response. This was my first reaction was, who are you sending it to? Some comic shops, so other comic shops don't get it. And what about digital? So the digital hurts all the comic shops. And then if you ship the books to some comic shops, you help some, and you're dividing them now. You're pitting them against each other. I mean, I don't think people are going to drive across, I don't think they can drive across state to get a comic, but they might be able to get it mailed to them. Yep. Oh yeah. But DC's like, well, we can still ship to your store. Well, some people, honestly, we're not even supposed to go to our stores. It's not like Brian is allowed to go to his store right now. Maybe to check in on stuff. I would recommend any shop owner, especially if you're in California, newspaper your windows or board them up. I maybe board them up. And yeah, and that way nobody can peek in if you need to do any work. That's just a suggestion. You know, DC's announcement is disgraceful by separating stores into have and have-nots. They are going to hasten many stores' demise, and they are encouraging retailers to violate stay-at-home orders and risk their health for corporate profits. Further, not in the announcement, but buried in the comments in the retail threads, how disgusting, how cowardly. They are not going to halt digital release of books. So that one didn't get mentioned in Bleeding Cool, but read Bleeding Fool. I'm sorry. I apologize for reading Bleeding Cool. It's a rag run by a not very nice person. But Bleeding Fool is cool. They are not going to halt digital release of new books. This is a dire mistake, and even a tiny amount of cross-channel conversation will put the majority of retailers in enormous economic peril. When coupled with the above, I have never been more emphatically disheartened and disappointed by a so-called partner. And that's how he puts it, partner. More soon. And it's got a lot of angry people and with the little angry emoji. And oh, wow, it's shop owners. It's other shop owners with the little angry emoji. So I'm guessing they're not loving it. And what I know about shop owners is there's going to be ones who are going to take the books, but they'll still be pissed about this. They'll go, this is completely unfair. You're screwed over, Brian, but I'll take the books. Come on, you know they will. There's a lot of good shop owners right now who are facing the brink. A lot of good, nice people who just want to sell comic books, who didn't want a culture freaking war. They just wanted to have a superhero war. But instead we got the culture war. And honestly, the culture war was more exciting than anything that happened in the fucking comics. Let's be real. But thank you, Candace. And it sounds like on the surface it's helping, and it helps some shops, but it doesn't help the industry. Overall, it hurts. What DC is doing is not a solution, it's a problem. They should pause. But see, they can't, because I think AT&T is putting tremendous pressure on them. I think they have months to live. I think there was truth to the rumor that they were thinking about cutting them before all this happened. So I think this is a last gasp, desperate attempt. Now, listen, they're still going to print comics, but they're not going to be what they were before. Retailing with the pamphlet, I believe, is over as we know it as of now, and it will be a completely different industry with fewer shops. It depends on how long it goes on. It depends. I had one of those shops. I was one of those guys. You know, I wasn't the best shop owner in the world. Well, I don't know. I won Best of the Bay in 2009. I did. But you know what? I was an okay businessman once I learned until I fell off the wagon. But I wasn't the best. And yeah, you know, if I had been closed for a month, I'd have been screwed. Completely screwed. Especially since my wife and I were both small business owners. My wife, she has to close her salon. She can't bring in clients right now. She can't go forever. And they haven't come out and said it here in San Francisco, but we're going to be locked down till 30th of April. It goes much longer than that, then I don't know. It gets into serious I don't know territory. But we're not panicking. We are not panicking. We're just taking it one day at a time like y'all are. You know, and I know you all are in very similar situations. Thank you, Candace Marie, for the $5, and thank you for being my my producer. I appreciate that. Telma ML for $4.99. Watch Data die for a second time was so painful, not what I needed at the moment. Telma, no. Star Trek Picard and Westworld are the worst time shows in the history of shows. Like dark, dystopian. Picard, for comic book fans, follow me on this one. Tell me if you haven't heard this one before. So Captain Picard, his whole career, Federation, Starfleet. It's supposed to be this utopian ideal. It was just Starfleet. Turns out it was all a lie. Starfleet was the affluent rich, and there were still marginalized people, and all that utopian ideal that we saw in Star Trek for 50 years was just one person's perspective, or Starfleet's perspective. In other words, Michael Chabon and Alex Kurtzman are hacks. They can't write anything hopeful and inspirational, so they have to bring Star Trek down to their level, which is it a level if it's below ground? I guess so. But no, they Rian Johnson Picard, just like we said they would. God, William Shatner called me a hater. It was one of the greatest moments on Twitter. William Shatner said I was hating on something before I even saw it. No, you know what, Bill, I love you. You're a god. You're a god of Canadians. That's fine. But no, I have seen this show before. It's called Star Trek Discovery. I saw that show before. I knew I was going to get, and guess what? We got it. And now, after we had the finale, it's the same situation as The Last Jedi. There's a bunch of people who are out there defending it. They know it sucks just as much as I do and just as much as Telma does, but they won't admit it because they can't admit they're wrong. Listen, if it was good, I would go, I was wrong. It was good. Yay. We got good Star Trek. We all win. But I wasn't in this case because they gave us what they promised. Alex Kurtzman actually fulfilled a promise. He said this was going to be a very different Star Trek and a very dark. It was. And unfortunately, it wasn't Star Trek. It was everything but Star Trek. It didn't look like Star Trek. It didn't feel like Star Trek. It didn't sound like Star Trek. Patrick Stewart sounded like Patrick Stewart, not Jean-Luc Picard. He sounded like JL. And it was ridiculous. And now Picard's a robot, a 97-year-old body robot. And he's with the girl. Who, at the end of the series, was willing to kill all organic life in the galaxy, but he talked her out of it. And now she wants to go travel amongst all the life she was willing to kill an hour before. But this is the logic of woke storytelling. You are, or I perceive that you are prejudiced against me, therefore you should all die. Okay, for one, it's your perception, and it's hashtag not all. And there's a good reason that people are afraid of synths because you can take over spaceships, you can kill a lot of people at once, and you just tried. By the way, our hero is Commander O, the hardest working woman in Starfleet and the Romulan Empire, which apparently isn't that decimated. Had plenty of ships. It was just like The Rise of Skywalker and The Last Jedi kind of pushed into one. There was too many woke allegories kind of stepping on each other and too many plot holes, completely forgotten plot threads. Oh, and the main character was completely deconstructed. And it was a waste of time. And nobody watched it at the end. The ratings dipped significantly, apparently. But hey, if CBS, show us the numbers. Come on. Let's see them. Show me the numbers. And by the way, y'all, just a suggestion, do not use the hashtag Star Trek Picard. Don't use it like a negative connotation, like RIP Picard or fake Trek or P-card, like P-E-E-C-A or something. Don't use Picard because they use that fake parrot analytics shit to try to say their show is doing well. So I've been trying to get people, and this was a Starry-Eyed Girl suggestion, not mine, or I don't know. I won't take credit for it. It doesn't matter. Credit doesn't matter. Just it's a suggestion because that helps the show when we do that. So I've stopped. Will QC is a new member. Awesome. Welcome to the proto-molecule level. I appreciate you, Will QC. And for $2 Canadian, RIP Batman. Yeah. I mean, it was RIP Batman anyway. Tom King kind of did it in anyway. Lord Menace, welcome to the proto-molecule level. We appreciate you. And there will be a members-only stream Thursday. Oh my God. Kapla, can't get into digital comics. Meh, says Bird of Prey 5 for $2. No, I can't either. I never could. I mean, I know some people like them, but it's an iPad thing, and I don't know how many people still have. I guess I don't carry around an iPad. I carry it on a phone. It would be terrible on a phone. Lubella. Thank you, Bird of Prey 5. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate you. So I'm a weird film broadcast major, but your lighting is beautiful, Gary. Well, thank you. Well, right now I have the sunlight coming down on my desk and coming. It won't last forever, but thank you, Lubella. Awesome. Lala World Eyes for 2 SGDs for $2. We'll just say, hail Gary, send you an email about Exozone ideas. I will check it out. Thank you. I think I saw it. Did you send it last night? I saw an Exozone email last night. Thank you. Heels versus Babyface sends a unicorn. Thank you, Az. How's it going? I was watching a little bit of your live stream last night. A little bit. Let's get to Heels versus Babyface. Please subscribe. It's a great channel. Let's go to the Gotham High. I think it was an EW, right? They do a preview of this. I'm not doing a video on this, folks. I just can't. It depends. It depends on how the day goes. I'm working hard on my Star Trek Picard review, which I don't know if anybody's even going to watch. I'm going to put hours into it, but I feel passionately about it. There will probably be another comic book video coming out in the next couple of days. Here, let's share this with you guys. I have to pause this dumb video because Warner Brothers is awful when it comes to striking people, we'll just say. There we go. First look, Batman meets Gossip Girl in new graphic novel Gotham High. Author Melissa De La Cruz and illustrator Thomas Petilli preview a Batman story like you've never seen. Melissa De La Cruz, I think, I don't know if anybody else has done this, but I'm going to do it. We can do it live. We're going to go see if she's got any social media. We'll try to go back, go in the way back with Sheen, and maybe she's a lifelong comic fan. I don't know. I don't know. Even after 80 years of Batman comics, movies, and TV series, you've never seen the Caped Crusader like this, and never wanted to. DC Comics' new graphic novel, Gotham High, reimagines a teenager Bruce Wayne along with the young versions of Catwoman, a.k.a. Selina Kyle, and the Joker, a.k.a. Jack Napier. Remember Batman 89? That was cool. In the world that feels more on par with Gossip Girl and Crazy Rich Asians than anything that's come before in the canon. Thankfully, this isn't in the canon. And you want to know why it doesn't feel like it? Because it's not it. You can't feel like something that's not something. After Bruce, a rich Chinese-American loner, gets knocked out of his boarding school, he returns to Gotham City to find his home and former friends are nothing like they left him. Former girl next door, Selina, is now the queen bee of Gotham High, ruling over everyone with a dark side no one knows about. And class clown Jack will do anything to get the last laugh. And when a string of kidnappings seem to target Bruce, he finds himself embroiled in a dangerous love triangle with the very people he suspects are the center of it. EW has your exclusive first look of Gotham High in the book trailer above and the expert below. Plus, author Melissa De La Cruz and illustrator Tom Pizzolatti revealing what fans can expect from the new Batman story. New York Times best-selling author Melissa De La Cruz. Never heard of her. Never heard of her. Look at that. I mean, that screams... Oh, there's bats. There's bats. Wow. DC Inc. approached you to reinvent YA versions of popular comic book characters. What drew you to Batman? Melissa De La Cruz. My husband is a big Batman fan, so when DC called and said, we want to do a YA line, what character do you want to do? I wanted to do Batman. It's such a fun, iconic character that I could put my own spin on. Thomas Patilli, or whatever his name is. A lot like your husband, I've been a Batman fan my whole life. I grew up on Batman, the animated series cartoon back in the 90s. So even since then, I was hooked. As far as superheroes go growing up, he was always my number one. So for me to get to work on any incarnation of Batman, it's a dream come true. And to do it for younger audiences specifically, what younger audience is going to read this shite? You guys, obviously, do you have kids? Melissa De La Cruz? Do you have kids? If I pulled Nerdrotic Jr. right, you know what? He would cringe. He would do that little 14-year-old cringy face. It's so cool because there've been, I wonder if there's TikTok in it. Do you think they have TikTok in it? It's so cool because they haven't been too many young Bruce Wayne stories that really appealed to me. Batman Year One, you little shithead. Batman Year One that I read as a teenager. De La Cruz. What excited you both about debuting new versions of not only Batman, also the Joker and Catwoman? De La Cruz. Bruce Wayne is the billionaire. He's the richest man alive. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if his family was Chinese and from Hong Kong? Wouldn't it be fun if I totally ripped off a movie? Oh, and you wonder why comic shops are closing. I'm about to say, I almost said something. Okay. Is it? Screw it. I'm going to say it. I'm here to say things. I'm going to say it. I'm almost glad some comic shops are going to close so they don't have to carry this crap. But they don't. They have a choice, folks. They don't have to. They're not forced into buying this, by the way. So I'm not actually serious about that. But no, they don't have to buy this. And I would vehemently not buy this. I would very strongly not buy this. Actively not buy this. I would talk every customer. Actually, no, I ghost it. It's if you mention something, it gets people buying. So actually, we're probably making more sales now. It'd probably be better if we just ghosted this thing, but too late now. Cat's out of the bag. Can make the soup. There's been a big influx of wealthy Chinese people. Ooh, is this badly timed? There's been a big influx of wealthy Chinese people who moved from Hong Kong to Arcadia in Los Angeles, and that's where my mom lives. I'm part Chinese. My brother lives in Hong Kong, so I thought it would be great to put what I know into Bruce Wayne. I just wanted... See, do you know anything about Batman, though? See, it's cool. For one, why does every author have to why does everything have to be semi-autobiographical? Oh, because you have no talent. What's the go-to for a writer? Autobiographical. Oh my God, this is so Alternative Press Expo. How did these people get work? I blame librarians. I blame Scholastic. I blame the comic shops partially. I just wanted him to be a little bit more representative of my background and giving him an authentic family. Alfred is not just his butler, but his uncle. He is gay and he's from Hong Kong. It gives this fabulously crazy rich Asian sheen to it. You're just a thief, De La Cruz. You're a thief. DC approached me because I got on the New York Times bestseller list, which apparently isn't what it used to be, kids. And I needed to come up with an idea. So I just went, husband, what's a superhero? Stuff like Batman, honey. Okay. And I just saw Crazy Rich Asians. Do you think I can mix them up? Do whatever you want, honey. Are you sure? Of course, honey. Whatever you say, honey. Can I play with my balls tonight? No. Patilli. That breathes new life into the character, especially in today's world, since we're living in the most diverse world we've probably ever lived in. So it's most representative of Batman in 2020. And since he's a teenager, I tried my best to put a little bit of myself into the character as well. What a bunch of adult children. We're dealing with stunted, arrested development. This is why comics suck. These are not experienced people. These are, you're getting a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And that's what is part of the problem. There's too many writers, not enough good ones. And if the industry is going to survive, it cannot produce or hire. It cannot produce shit like this or hire people like De La Cruz until they learn, until they read a couple of Batman comics. The chances of De La Cruz reading a Batman comic before she got this job are like, there's no way in hell. Bet my life on it. I tried to put a little bit of myself in the character as well, channeling those feelings of being adolescent and feeling like an outsider because you were the only one who felt that way. Newsflash, every teenager felt like an outsider. Even the insiders felt like outsiders. And it was also, do you know how much I think about my teenage years now that I'm 50? Like, not at all. Not at freaking all. I used to think about it a lot in my 30s, but my 50s, oh my God, I love being adult. I love not being like this. I definitely wasn't a billionaire. Well, neither were most of us, but oftentimes I felt very separated from everyone else around me. But my mom said I was special, and those kids just didn't understand what my mom said. What did you use as the inspiration for the new version of Batman? I pitched a kind of Gossip Girl Batman, another ripoff, another fucking ripoff. Stop. You know what? Pitch something interesting. How about not make it? And in my mind, I wanted to reinvent Chuck Bass. Chuck Bass. So, in other words, she had no ideas, so she thought of the other show she used to like. You know, Mrs. Nerdrotic will probably love this book, to be honest with you. She liked Gossip Girl. I don't know if she saw Crazy Rich Asians, but yeah. So you're basically making a book for hairdressers. Okay. Well, hey, the number one movie of 2020, Birds of Prey, was made for hairdressers too. He's still Bruce Wayne. No, he's not. It's not the Great Gatsby, so he'll still be brooding. He's still a loner. He still has all the iconic Batman personality. You can't mess with him that much, but making him Chinese was a no-brainer. Was it? Was it now? Why did you not go with Mexican American? Why does it got to be Chinese? You know, I personally think that's kind of on the nose, but everyone was on board from the beginning. Oh, I'm sure there, you know, Candace, who gave us the first super chat and gave us the information, help me out with the information about the retailers, reported in one of her videos that Disney had a board meeting where they spent half of it talking about diversity. And this is prior to the thing that shall not be named. And they spent 0 minutes on crisis management. I'm guessing AT&T and DC is the same way. I'm guessing if you're a white person who works at Warner Brothers and a person of color walks in, you are just practically peeing your pants in fear. You're just like, oh my God, I hope I didn't say anything wrong. I'll just say yes to whatever they say, and I hope they leave the room as soon as I can, because they're going to get me fired. That's the freaking atmosphere you've created. That is the political correct atmosphere of social tyranny. And now comic shops are closing, you effing a-holes. From an artistic standpoint, the story of Bruce Wayne and Batman was essentially wiped clean. No shit. I wasn't held down in any way to a one specific thing. Of course not, because they were like, you're half Asian. You can have whatever you want. Please don't get me fired. Please. How much do you want to be paid? Just fill in the blank below, and I'll leave the room, and you could write the book as long as you want. Just please don't get me fired. I'm sorry I'm white. Please don't hurt me. That was Dan Didio, by the way. And no, it's Jim Lee, even though he is, Asian too. Piddle. From artistic standpoint, the history of Bruce Wayne and Batman was essentially wiped clean. I wasn't held down in any way to one specific thing. It gave me an opportunity to think of this other character that I can copy from somebody else. I'm sorry, completely different than now other artists have drawn this character over the years. Who cares? You mean it doesn't look at all like Sean Gordon Murphy's art? It doesn't look anything like Sean Gordon Murphy's art, except much, much worse. Thomas, how did you go about designing the look of the characters? I read Batman White Knight, and I'm not going to read that part. De La Cruz, and I would send you fashion for Selena because I had really specific ideas for outfits I wanted her to wear. Yeah, girls. And that really helped. That brought more to what envisioned onto the paper. Of course, he's like, this freaking biatch keeps sending me stupid fashion cuts out, and I can't say a damn word against her. Yes. Oh, this is great. Thank you so much. Melissa, when you sat down to develop the story of this graphic novel, what was your main goal that you wanted to accomplish? I wanted to write about a young Bruce Wayne, so obviously there's going to be a love story. Man, when I picked up Batman Year One, I'm like, God, I hope Bruce falls in love. Every time I picked up a comic book, I was like, I hope I want Peter Parker to fall in love. I mean, it was part of the story. We liked it. I don't think it was ever a goal. Joe Quesada, it doesn't mean you have Peter Parker and Mary Jane divorce, you son of a bitch, but it wasn't a goal. I really hope the Joker and Harley get together someday. I hope Joker locks her down. She's a keeper. The Joker's pretty hot, so he's got to be in there. That's where I started. I wanted to write something about how he dealt with his wealth, because I've always written stories about things that people think are so great actually don't turn out to be that great. That's what you've always written about? Okay, I'm going to go back. I wanted to write something about how he dealt with his wealth, because I've always written stories about how things that people think are so great actually don't turn out to be so great. That grammar doesn't seem to be so great. Listen, I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. I can't judge, but she is a writer. I just wrote The Queen's Assassin, about a girl who doesn't want to be a princess. Wow, we have never heard that story before. That is so groundbreaking. That is so stunning and brave, Melissa. You deserve to be a New York Times bestseller. So I wanted to show how it's not actually that great to be that rich. So I wanted to show how it's not actually that great to be that rich. Is there a more tone-deaf statement ever? Hey, maybe it isn't, but I can tell you as somebody who has slept under a bush, I don't really want to fucking hear it. It's almost a burden to be so different. Is he able to have friends? Can he have a relationship? And then I went from there. Oh, she's dumb. Okay, I get it. Speaking of that love triangle, we're always seeing Batman, the Joker, and Catwoman at odds with each other, and sometimes Batman and Catwoman in romantic situations. Where did you get the idea to make a full love triangle? I always remember the quote from Truman Capote's In Cold Blood, where he's talking about the killers, and he says something like, "We came from the same place, but I walked out the front door and he walked out the back door." There is this feeling that there's the same person, just with different circumstances. No, they're individuals. But you're trying to say two sides of the coin? Okay. Maybe if you read a Batman comic, I don't know. I wanted to put that in the Batman-Joker dynamic. Okay. They're almost the same person, but Bruce has all the privilege and Jack has nothing. This is getting tiresome. What does that do to who they become? And then there's a girl in the middle, the hottest girl to ever walk the halls of high school, laughs. And what does she want? It came out of trying to figure out all their desires. What does Jack bring to Selina's that's different from the Bruce? And what does Jack bring to Selina that's different from what Bruce brings to Selina? Oh my God, I'm captivated, Melissa. I'm buying this right now. Ultimately, you don't know who she's going to pick. You root for both of them, and there's a surprise at the end. Yeah, she probably makes out with a girl. That's my guess. That she ends up making out with a girl named Harley, because that's the other girl you've heard on. Oh my God. Piddle says there's a Shakespearean aspect to the love triangle. People, guys, how did they get this long of an interview? Okay, so here's the actual book. And, yeah. I want to right now. I really want to right now. That's what DC's saying to the comic shops right here. I'll zoom that in a little bit. That's what DC's saying to the comic shops right there. Do it. Oh. What does that say right there? OMG. What a loser. Oh my God. Okay, that shot right there, what he's doing, if that hits him in the nose, that kills somebody. Did a white guy beat up a marginalized person? And it's Lucius Fox. Okay. And he's got oh my God. Is the whole book in here? Jesus Christ. Oh, this looks terrible. Hey, this is what DC's saying to the comic shops too. Bet you can't afford this, motherfucker. Your competition's gonna get in Arizona, or I don't know where comic shops are open right now. They can mail to your customers. Thanks, DC. Jesus Christ. Oh, here it is. Before Masha Dean became Martha Wayne, she was the most beautiful girl in Hong Kong. From the richest family. Few know it was her money that started Wayne Enterprises. Fuck off. Oh. DC, you out-marveled yourself. You out-marveled yourself. Well done, you pieces of garbage. And the comic shops scream nothing because they can't, because they're silent. I still maintain, I mean, that's bad. That's bad. But Snowflake and Safe Space is much worse. Much worse, because that is a strip. That's Marvel doing this to the fandom. That's what they did. Man, that really sucked. That was awful. Sorry. Okay, let's get the Smooth Jam California for $2. Hey, Gary, sent you a meme on Twitter. Where's Jim? Oh, and I'll check it out. Thank you. Where is Jim Lee? Where is Jim Lee? That is the mystery. Lala Worlds for, thank you again. Thank you again, yeah. MCD Staples for $4.99. Jim Lee is auctioning off 60 art pieces. All proceeds go to brick and mortar comic shops. Good for him. Good. That's great. And I plan to make a little donation there as well. Here's the problem. 60 pieces of Jim art. So that's probably going to bring in a lot of money. So it could help probably 10 shops. But DC's continuing to sell to other comic shops. So I think they would rather have more help that way. But he's also been silent. DC hasn't been, it's been disappointing as hell what they've done. Absolutely disappointing. This is out of character for DC. DC is normally miles ahead of Marvel with contacting comic shops. This is bullshit what they're doing. Jim Lee, sell all the art you want. Dude, if the shops can't open, I'll tell you right now, San Francisco, average rent price, it's like $4,000. $4,000. So we got Leaf at Mission Comics and Art. I don't know what his rent is. Maybe he's got a deal. Maybe it's under $4,000. But that is a small shop. I mean, it's a good shop. It does well, but he had to ask for financial assistance last year. Joe Field from one of the biggest comic or one of the best known comic shops here in Northern California in Concord, Flying Colors, the inventor of Free Comic Book Day, just put up a Facebook post in December saying he was having hard financial times. We need more people to come in the shop. Blue Moon Comics just in San Rafael just put up I know that shop. There's no way they're going to be able to last. Brian Hibbs is probably going to have to close my shop. That's not going to help. It's too late. But that's good that he's doing it. I'm not discouraging it. Please do it. And I'm going to offer a little bit of solution at the end of this live stream. I will be offering what I can do. It's a little something. It's not much, but it's a little something. And good for Jim. Good for doing that. I wish he would have talked to the comic shops. That's all. Jody Bowie for $5. What is the world we live in where Batman is Asian and the Doctor is a girl? Next, up is down and left is right. What the actual F is going on? I don't know, Jody Bowie. I don't know. Well, we do know. It was the product of an affluent society. We have just seen a very best economy in my lifetime. We've seen it going on for quite some time. And it got so good, people started arguing about 57 genders and started subverting every comic character because they were put in power and they were irresponsible with that power instead of trying to, especially in pop culture, in mass market entertainment, instead of trying to make a show or a comic book for everyone. And I said this last night, and I've said this in multiple videos. If you want to get your message across, you can put it in a good story. Good story has to come first. That is the best vehicle for a message. If you come with message first, then story, it never works. People can see your intention and it takes you out of that story. It also shows you're not very talented and you're biased. I mean, forget the bias. Everybody's biased, but you're just not talented. Alex Kurtzman, Michael Chabon, when it comes to writing television, not talented. Not. Cracklin for $9.99. Years ago, I met an artist whose art was on display at the Oscars ceremony. He claims that he met Data and Picard, Spinner and Stewart, and they invited him to join them in smoking the devil's lettuce. Both of them together? You mean Patrick Stewart and Brent Spinner smoking hippie lettuce? Of course, I'm not surprised. I met Brent Spinner. Yeah, I mean, they listen, they're actors. Sir Patrick Stewart is an empty-headed actor. He's Sir Patrick Stewart. He's got a great voice, great presence. He has great charisma when he's speaking somebody else's lines. And he's an empty-headed pretender. Lifelong. Very rich. Very affluent. Nowhere near connected to the common man at all. As a matter of fact, that crap that he was parroting in that Vanity interview that I did a video on was just that. It's shit he heard from his assistants and stuff. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. And it's obvious because any real actor reading those lines for Star Trek Picard would have gone, what the hell? Maybe they were just happy to have work. I don't know. Salad Cream Boy, 1984, for 10 pounds. Comic book stores are a place for the fans to go and share something they love. Go to signings, converse about comics. Spread the word of mouth. And it's something to escape to. Nope, can't have that. Nope, you can't. Comic book shops were that and more. They were a place where people talked about television shows as much as comic books and movies. They were the last bastion of nerd gatherings outside of live streaming. Live streaming has kind of become that, but it's so much more different when you're in a store. And listen, that might be an old ideal. If this doesn't go on too long, I'll be opening another shop. I will. But it won't be selling new books. But it used to be a place to gather, and it used to be the town square. Now this is the town square, and maybe it's just, I don't know. Each store individually has to figure out their own way to survive. You cannot expect Diamond or Marvel to save you, but they need to help you. Okay. They can't be there to save you though. Neither should the government. The government, I mean, you're on your own. Okay. Always have been, always will be. And once you learn that, comic shop owners and business owners, the better you are. Nobody's going to swing in and save you. You might get a little tax credit here, a little cash there, but it's not going to, listen, they can't save everybody, and they're going to look at you and you're not very essential. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Hollywood bailouts in a moment. But the comic book thing was on my mind. Alvarian, hang on a second. All right. Sorry. Boop, 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 boop. Alvarian Imakara for $2 says, check your email. STP is also an RPG ripoff. I will check my email after the live stream. I cannot, it's too difficult for me to check. I can maybe pop over to my Twitter DMs, but it's just, going over to email right now. I can try it later. So I'll keep you in mind. Thank you very much, Alvarian. Joe W. for 10 pounds. Part of what is contributing to the downfall of comic stores and bookstores is a general lack of interest to read. Here in the UK, our standards have slipped badly. Well, it's a lack of interest because the stories suck. So an overall lack of interest to read is part of it as well. But then again, I still see a market for comics. There's still people who love them. Now, if comics have to go into the prestige book and graphic novel thing, and that has to be their main source of income, that's a problem. That's a problem that might be related to people don't want to sit down and read an entire graphic novel. But you know what? Manga kicks ass. Manga does great in Japan, and it's the biggest difference in the culture, obviously. But and I think manga is going to take over, honestly, at this point. Maybe. Midnight Sage After Dark for $2.30. Congrats! Told you so. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. That's I just hit 230,000 subs, and I appreciate you. Oz Baxter Incorporated for $10. I feel like this all started when comics moved to California. The talent pool is primarily SJW and La La Land. The East Coast Stan Lee, Jim Shooter years versus the West Coast Quesada Alonso current years. Hashtag hail. East Coast is just as SJW as the West Coast. There's no difference now. It's just a time difference. But as far as wokeness, the East Coast and the West Coast are equally as woke. I don't believe one is less woke than the other. California is crazy, and so is New York. Let's be real. But yeah, I mean, it's just a timing thing, honestly. And it's post 2015. It was creeping in 2003, but it got bad post 2015. IK 1906 for $5. Thoughts on Brie Larson becoming Picard's new body? Why the F not? Cesario JPN for $10. Thought Marvel was tone deaf right now with you know what, but DC's comics had to go hold my wine cooler with Gotham Knight. Martha's Chinese BG and Origins of Batman is way too indirect to the current situation. Wow. How bad is that timing? How bad does that look right now? So I live in a city, obviously, with a giant Chinese community. Huge. And huge. It's huge. It's huge. And things look fine. Just saying, things look fine. Congrats on 230,000. Thank you very much. I appreciate Rob Adis. I appreciate for $2.30. SJ Almighty for $2. Took your advice. The Orville is awesome. Yes, watch The Orville on Hulu. The Orville on Hulu. It's 2 seasons are available. It's a great show. It's funny. It's a great example of it puts messages in good storytelling. So it's able to get through some messages that if anybody else took on would be considered woke, but they're not because Seth knows how to make things digestible to the audience. He wants to entertain everybody, and we certainly know where Seth comes from. I do, and I don't agree with him on a lot of his politics, but I like The Orville. It's a fun show. It's funny, and it doesn't have a stick up its ass like most of Hollywood does right now. Oz Baxter for $5. Why do all the warp instant stop sound effects in the Captain Riker scene sound like the phasers in the 2009 Pine Quinto movie? Am I crazy? Hashtag RIP Trek. You're not. I haven't gotten to that episode yet, but there is repurposed stuff in Star Trek Picard. If you look at the special effects, there is most definitely repurposed stuff. It's little, but you can see it. They ran out of money on this one. Grant Kelbrick for 70 Zardozes. Hey, Gary, been rewatching TNG, man. It's Shakespeare compared to the shite these hacks are passing off as Trek. Have been watching Star Trek New Voyages, loving it. Yeah, the New Voyages is good too. Yeah, and Star Trek continues. Star Trek continues, Grant. But you know that. Thank you for the 70 Zardozes. Tenno Recluse for £5. To me, you aren't showing as live, and yeah, I noticed that. They're ghosting me, folks. I'm being ghosted. I was like, man, viewer count's down, but now I know why. Oh, it's still good, but I'm being ghosted. That pisses me off. It's the first time it happened. It didn't happen to me Friday, but it happened today. And no notifications went out. So if you guys could share this one far and wide, I would greatly appreciate it. As a matter of fact, hang on a second. I'm going to put this in my community section just so people know. Yeah, I shared it on Twitter, and I shared it on Facebook in my groups. And no, I am not showing up anywhere. That sucks. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys how this works. I'll go into my other account. Give me just a moment. And sorry about that. Live. Live stream being ghosted. There we go. Now we're going to sign. I wonder if I can do that. I probably can't. It's probably not a good idea while I'm live streaming. I was going to sign into a different account, but I can't. So yeah, if somebody could take a screenshot, I don't know if you don't want to show off your subscriptions, that's fine. But what happens is if you're subscribed to me, I'll be showing live but in your feed, in your actual feed, I will not be showing up. That happened to Doomcock last night. Didn't happen to me on Friday Night Tights. I don't know if you're live streaming too much. I think they're throttling live streaming, folks. YouTube is throttling live streaming. And it's probably because they have a skeleton crew, probably because so many people are live streaming right now. And yeah, so I guess I'm the unlucky one this time. But live streaming is being throttled, and Netflix is throttling stuff too, so shit. Great. Wonderful. Mr. T, or Scottish Nerd, thank you for the unicorn for 149. I appreciate it. But Tenno Recluse says, to me, you aren't showing as live in my subscriptions or recommended. Only shows when clicking in your channel. What did you do to annoy YouTube? I don't think I did anything. I think it's just bad luck this time. But I will be, I hope people are contacting him on Team YouTube. This is a huge problem. But I think it's throttling, honestly. Mr. T for $5. Dude, it's ironic that they make Batman Chinese since you know what came from a man eating a bat in that country. LOL. Yes. That's according, yes. And you know what? I think if that comes up too much, I think that's part of it, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. We're already throttled, so it doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say, Mr. T. Thank you for the $5. Irony. Batwoman had its UK premiere yesterday, and it's already been slammed as bad. Nicholas Horton. I didn't know it wasn't airing in the UK. That's interesting. Is everybody slamming it as bad, Nicholas, or is it the usual suspects that are praising it and so on? 52 movies a year for $4.99. In Gotham High, I wish the Joker would have been 40-year-old Arthur Fleck. Might as well piss off every fan while they're at it. Exactly. Jury Nitpicker for $4.99. Thank you, DC, 52 movies a year. Jury Nitpicker for $4.99. First, they took Dr. Manhattan. Now they took Bruce Wayne. How many OG Jewish superheroes are left for them to defecate? I don't want a switch. Yes, they keep taking heroes that they perceive as white that were created by Jewish men. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $4.99 makes you wonder. A couple that with her Twilight-style story was probably influenced by Pattinson being cast as Batman. That's a very logical way of looking at it. And maybe it was. Maybe it was. I always choose I always ask myself, what would a woke person do? How would a woke person tell this story? Well, they would have no originality. They would pick the last movie they saw, and they would ask their husband or their partner what their favorite superhero was. Boom, story. Herbert Lepkin, thank you for the 10 Polish pesos. Bat-eating man. Yes, well, that's what it might be. Thank you. Drury Nitpicker, thank you for the $1.99. Hairdressers are the future after this blows over. They might be. Mrs. Nerdrotic says she hopes so. Howard Briones, welcome to the Jaloja level. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Especially since this live stream's getting throttled. God damn, that's 2 in a row. 2 in a row. We got throttled last night in the Inquisition too. I'm trying to keep us down. Damn it. I'm going to keep an eye on this situation. If it gets throttled again, folks, next time I'm going to restart. I'm just going to flat out restart the live stream. Not this time, but I will next time. And see if that works. It might not, but it's worth a try. Howard Briones, welcome to the Jaloja level. Hail. Cracklin, $1.99. Have to say you do a fabulous gay list. Why, thank you. Well, I'm in San Francisco. Zero duality for Canadian $2. Teletubbies had more originality. It really did. It actually did. And it was the stuff of nightmares. Let's be real about that. Gary, you are one of the pillars of our greater community. Why, thank you. I don't feel like it when I get throttled, but thank you for being here. In these strange times, just want to say thank you from everyone who listens to you. Thank you, JP. And you are one of the pillars as well. And so is everybody in this chat. We all, we're all in this together. And now, now here we are in a situation where we're going to watch what we have been warning about for years, we are just going to see the consequences play out right in front of us for the next 3, 4, 5 months. It's just going to be, we told you so. We tried to tell you. We wanted to give you money. We were actually trying to help the industry because we actually give a shit. We have been called haters. We're not destroying anything. We're going, hey, stop destroying this thing and stop doing it under the guise of inclusivity and diversity when that's a fracking lie. It's a lie. Sean the Geek, welcome to the Jaloja membership. Wow, a lot of members today. That's great. Thank you so much. I'm going to hit up Sindek. I think I need to hit up Sindek to make me some emojis and stuff. I love what he did. He did a... I usually don't like putting my face on stuff, but he did an animated face for me, and it's on my Twitter. I thought it was really good. Thank you. I really appreciate it when they do that, but I don't know. Don't you see enough of me anyway in the videos? But I think it was really cool they did that. So I made it my profile picture. Gary, I'm a woman, and I hate this. Jody Bowie, thank you. Yeah, and it's stupid. Like, who would buy this? And listen, we wrote this for young women. Well, then you think young women are dumb. Way to go, DC. Way to outwoke yourself. Let's get this live stream up to 1,000 likes for the G-Man. Thank you very much. Hey, 896 likes for a throttle stream is impressive as hell. I thank you. Have you thought about having Vic Bignana come on to talk about his Star Trek Continues? I know his email if you want it. Absolutely, I would talk to Vic. I don't usually like doing interviews, but I would do one with Vic, certainly. Yeah. I'd probably bring on some help for that one, especially probably like Tug or Yellow Flash, one of those two. But yeah, I would talk to Vic, sure. I have a Mark Zickery interview that I'm going to release. I'll probably release it today since this got throttled. So I'm doing these daily, folks. These are going daily. I'm going to skip the weekends because Friday night tights, of course, and then there's the Inquisition. But Monday through Thursday, it's going to be 11 a.m., but if 11 a.m. is throttle time, I'm going to move it to an off hour when not a lot of people are live streaming. So it might be late at night. It might be mid-afternoon. You know what? I wasn't getting throttled at mid-afternoon here, my time, so maybe I'll move it to that. So please, time subject to change. But I wanted to do something earlier for my Brits, but we'll see. But this might be throttle time. And there might be times when too many people are live streaming. I'll look into it. And I have a website, nerdrotic.com. If you go to the right-hand side, I have my live stream schedule. So please make a note of that. It's totally free, and everything's backed up. So if anything ever happens to YouTube, go to nerdrotic.com. I also have Patreon and all that stuff, but that's where you go right now. This stuff shows up there a couple days later. It hits YouTube first. Nerdrotic Live is where all the live stream stuff goes, and everything goes to nerdrotic.com. It's also a podcast if you subscribe to me on iTunes or anybody that mirrors iTunes. I'm going to be on Spotify. I just have to set it up. I haven't set it up yet. Jody Bowie, thank you. Jeff Green for $1.99, thank you. Murnum007, did I say that right? Murnum007 for $5. Have you thought about maybe, I read that one. Thank you, Myrna007. Tim Adams for $5. Did you notice that the bridge of the Riker ship looked a lot like the Enterprise of Discovery? I did. You want to know why? 'Cause it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Bridge design doesn't change much over 200 years, huh? Nope. And it was also supposed to be Admiral sheer fucking hubris. Nicholas Horton for £5. Part 2, just one newspaper so far. The Guardian slammed Batwoman. Oh, okay. Well, you didn't have to give me notes. Thank you for the other super chat. The Guardian seems to be coming around, but remember, those fuckers called us Yahtzees. They did. You and I, Nicholas, they called you and I alt-right Yahtzees. IK1906 for $5. Never watched Star Trek or Who before, but with all this chat going on, I tried some old Who. The shit was dope. Tom Baker is legit. That I have done my job. I can almost retire now. We made another Doctor Who fan. Just watch the classic shit. Stop at the 50th anniversary. Tom Baker is absolutely legit. He is the shit. And that makes me so happy. Fuck Chris Chibnall. I mean, this thing's being throttled, so I don't care. Fuck Chris Chibnall. Fuck Alex Kurtzman. Fuck DC. Fuck DC for doing this. You fucking assholes. And you know what? Fuck you, Kibblesmith. Kibblesmith asked his wife's boyfriend for ideas. Says Salsa Sharko $2. Honey, could you ask your boyfriend if he knows about any Marvel comics? Oh, don't kiss me. Don't. Oh my God. Oh my God, that guy, man. I almost said something really bad. Like, it would really be mad to make an analogy about thinning herds or something like that right now. Probably. Drury Nitpicker $4.99. Hey, I finally joined the channel. Did it show up? Yes, it's not at this end. What the fuck? Anyways, hail brother, keep up the great work. And I'll keep investing. Hey, Drury Nitpicker, you've invested. Thank you so much. I will message you from the memberships, but I did see you in there. Yes, I did. Unless YouTube has been glitchy as hell right now. And, okay, so since I'm being throttled, there's a rumor, folks. Have you heard this rumor? It could be a bullshit rumor. It could be a bullshit woo-woo rumor. But about the internet possibly, yeah, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to run with it. Never mind. I don't know if I believe it. Oh, fuck it. So there's a rumor that the internet might go dark a couple days. It's a rumor. It's from woo-woo people. So I would definitely take it with a mountain-sized grain of salt, okay? But I'm sure you guys have heard it. Darkstar76 for $2. Just got Nerdrotic beanie and stuff. Thank you to you and the missus. Darkstar, thank you. Yes, she handed out the Nerdrotic beanie. She packed them all up. She shipped them out. You should be receiving them. Those are the winners from my Instagram contest. If you want to get swag, follow me on Instagram, and we have Swag Sundays, which is run by the stunning and brave, powerful female lead of female leads, Mrs. Nerdrotic herself. And that is Instagram.com/Nerdrotic. So all you got to do is follow me. And if one of the do I have a Modrotic? I got Chris Persia. Chris, could you put the Instagram link in there? Chris, bless your heart. Chris is a good Canadian. Hail Canada. Hail Chris Persia. The best Canadian wrench. Love you, man. Red Tigress for $2. I'm a woman. I'm an engineer, and I hate this. God damn, we need more of you, by the way. Thank you. Thank you for being a woman, by the way. And thank you for being a female engineer. And Red Tigress, I like that name. And yeah, and she hates it too. It's stupid as shit. It's stupid as shit. Red Tigress, I hope you get back to work soon. I hope things are safe where you are. And thank you for the $2. And I'm sorry that DC thinks you're stupid. You're a fucking engineer. You can decide for yourself what you want. And I'm sorry, excuse the crude term, but I'm going to borrow something from my friend Comics Division. Women are not a vagina hive mind, okay? They actually think for themselves. And this is usually written by inexperienced women. I mean, hey, her life experience is Arcadia, California. Oh my God. Arcadia, California. It doesn't get, it's upper middle class in SoCal. You don't have a better life. I mean, SoCal is a great place to grow up. I grew up there. It was awesome. It was also probably one of the best places to be homeless. I was homeless there too. Coffee money from Steve-O. Thank you. I am going to Pete's today. There's an open one. They're open. They close at like 3, but I am freaking going. I'm going to get my car today for the first time since the lockdown. I don't know, but Mrs. Nerdrotic does not let me around people right now. I actually haven't been around a human being other than my family since the 16th. So I think I'm okay. Thanks for the shout out, brother. Glad to do work with it. Sindek. Hey, Sindek, thank you for the $2. I need you. Can you make me emoji. I need some emojis and I need some badges for my memberships. I'll get you a little cheddar. And we want to do something similar to what you did with Twitter. If you could DM Mrs. Nerdrotic on Instagram, please, we will work it out. FYI, Kibblesmith asks his boyfriend's boyfriend. The Fixer. 2 pounds. Yes! The Fixer #1 wins. He wins. Absolutely. All right. So we're not even close to done here because I want to talk about fucking Hollywood bailouts. So as we know, Star Trek Picard is getting a $20 million tax cut. Now, it's not like they're getting money from California. They just to keep more of their money. Now, listen, as far as politics are concerned, I don't usually talk about my politics here. It's very hard to guess my politics because I'm not a member of any party. I am a by-the-issue voter and person. And but I'm not really big on taxes. Never really been. I'm very young Rippo when it comes to taxes. But we have to pay them right now. I could be against them, but that doesn't change the fact that these taxes exist. CBS Viacom is a corporation in big trouble now because it was irresponsible with the billions of dollars it made. And they will not be getting any breaks. If I have anything to say out of it, which is not much, I'm just going to say shit on my channel. And hopefully you tell a friend and they tell a friend and they tell a friend and we get enough people on this bandwagon to shut down any sniff of a Hollywood bailout. No tax credits. None at all. Zero. Your asses stay right here. You film shit. If you can't afford to film shit right here, then maybe it shouldn't be made. Maybe Hollywood should be a little more responsible with its money. I'm not against it making all the money it wants, but it's been spending it like a freaking, coked out hooker in Las Vegas. Like, that's the problem right now. And we're going to be asked to give them tax cuts when the people need tax cuts. And what you need to do is take the money we know you have and invest it into California, which has, been pretty good. You've invested in America, invest it into Americans, and put their asses to work. I doubt there's going to be a strike now. I think a lot of people are just going to be grateful to have jobs so we can just get this shit going, and it'll be you using the money we know you have. No fucking tax credits for anybody. And I'm sorry, that means the Orville too. That means the Expanse. That means every fucking show. And as far as like flying American crews to, New Zealand, that's fine. That helps New Zealand a little bit. But honestly, I think we should put a stipulation that you stay here for, no, I don't like government stipulations. No, if you want to put your money where your mouth is, because listen, a lot of these companies, these billion-dollar companies have been they've been paying for woke Hollywood for the last few years. So now they're the people they've been railing against, they're going to come to them with their fucking hands out. And that's also counting the people you've been alienating in the fandom. You're going to be coming to us with your hands out. Guess who's going to be king now? The customer. You better roll out the red carpet for the customer. You better shut your fucking mouths, Hollywood, right now. Like, right fucking now. Or you're not going to have any work, because this is going to be the same Hollywood. Hollywood was bragging at one point that it was recession, and it made it through a depression. But it made it through the depression because there was tight controls over it. As it stands right now, Hollywood is too corporate to make it through that right now. And who knows? I don't know if we're going to be recession, depression. Who knows? But invest in the workers here. You hire those truckers. You pay them a fair wage. You keep it here. And you still make your damn show. I don't care. You make stupid Star Trek Picard Season 2. You know what? You got Mark Bernardin on staff. Have him run the show. That guy sounds like for one, I know he knows more shit than Alex Kurtzman. So fire Alex Kurtzman. He's a waste of your time, and get Mark Bernardin to run your show, and maybe it's got a chance. I would give it a chance if he was the showrunner, if Alex Kurtzman was fired. But Fuck your tax credits. Hell no. Absolutely against it. And nothing is, you know what? I mean, is Brian's Comic Shop going to get a tax credit from California to that? I mean, same percentage as you would for your TV show, for your make-believe TV show? That does what? It employs people for a certain amount of time, but you could also give that credit to a business or a bunch of small businesses that are there for years. Some restaurants, auto shops, something, salons, something that offers a service that'll be in the community for decades instead of a show that comes in, builds a set, tears it down, and leaves. Oh, and there's a bunch of foreign money in that as well, which is an argument for another day. And by the way, Hollywood, you just lost your one of your biggest investors, by the way. I know I said by the way twice, but I meant that. I meant it. By the way. I wonder how Tencent is doing right now. I'm checking. Who's a tater hater? I can hear you, Yeah. 10-cent shares. You know what? How are 10-cent shares doing well? $49. Well, let me look at the 6 months. Oh, yeah. This company's doing just fine. How is that even fucking possible? How is that possible? Now, it did dip in March 19th. There's something fucking fishy going on here. No way. I smell something rotten in Denmark. There's just no way. That's curious. That's very curious. There's no shenanigans going on at all. None at all. China's on lockdown, but their biggest entertainment company with no theaters, just doing just fine. Disney's at $99.85. $99.85. And it is, it's bouncing back. $99.85. Let's see Viacom. You want to see that real quick? Sorry. Oh, here's our stock checking report. This is the sexy part of the podcast, everybody. If you're listening at home, I'm showing stock. I promise I will not do this very often. I could care less about this shit. It puts me to sleep. But yeah, there you go. You're up. Let's see how Viacom CBS is doing. Maybe I just don't understand the stock market. I figure that nobody's at work right now and, but that's good. I don't want it. Hey, everything's up today. Everything's up today. You want to know, well, we'll talk about that. Well, I should probably talk about it in the throttling. You don't want to know why things are up, folks. Listen, I don't watch news at all. I don't because they're liars. And I'm not going to listen to liars. So I search out places online and on YouTube of sources I trust. I sometimes go to very fringy places on each side to kind of get where the fringy people are saying. And I formulate an opinion based on knowledge that I did not, or things I did not experience. So it's secondhand knowledge. And it seems like that we'll see how things proceed. All right. It seems like I'm starting to believe. I could be wrong. Okay. So I I want you to know I might change my opinion on this because I don't know. I am just in a house, maybe a little bit overblown. Okay? I know I'm going out on a ledge on saying that. I could, and you know, if I'm wrong, I'll just come out and say, you know, I was wrong. Glad we did. And hey, we took the precautions, and maybe it's because we took the precautions. That's great. I want you to be safe. And I want your grandmas to be safe. I want your grandpas to be safe. And my mom, I have an elderly mom. Okay. We all have moms, or not all of us, but some of us do. I don't have a dad. My dad's gone. I have two moms. They're both safe. I want them to be safe. They're in the danger zone, and that's legit. That's absolutely legit. They have my mom quarantined, my older, because she's already had health problems, and thank God we got her in this facility that I'm paying a fortune for. But yes, I'm glad she's there. She's safe, and that's brilliant. So, but you know what? Those estimated numbers were dropped a lot recently. So just saying. CBS Viacom at $14. That's not good. But you know what? It's never been that good, to be honest with you. I'm looking at over the 6 months. What a garbage stock. And you look at Disney, and it's like $100, and CBS Viacom is like 14. Let's go to my the one company I had stock in. Let's go to Tesla. See how they're doing. They're having a bad week, and they're still at $500 a share. I don't own stock anymore, and I'm glad I don't. All right. Enough of the stock report. It's fucking boring. Hollywood needs customers. We don't need them. I can get entertainment watching Nerdrotic, Doomcock, and others. Hell yeah. Was more fun than Hollywood wokeness. Darth Sweeney, thank you for the £5, and we will continue with the entertainment. Like I said, I'm going daily. Did I say weekly? I'm going daily with the Nerdrotic Nooner, and hopefully it won't get throttled. Like, this is impressive for being throttled. 1,700 is good. It's good. I normally, have a few hundred more than that, but it started out that way and then it dropped. It must be because I was reading that article. It's very amusing because, and thank you again, Darth Sweeney. It's very amusing because it turns out Disney spending $70 billion on Fox may have been a terrible idea. Shocking, says the Big Red Bear for Canadian $5. Big Red Bear, I know you and I have been against that thing from the get-go. It was a stupid fucking idea, and this is why. Told you so, Bob. But Bob's a genius. Bob Iger's a genius. He can buy things just like a coked up housewife in Las Vegas. I'll say housewife this time. Flavius Alicanther for £10. Hope you're doing well, Gary. If you think Kibble Pet Foods was woke on the Marvel Channel, you should see the simp of that millionaire program. Thank God his line will end with him. Yes. He is the simp, the king of all simps. Oh my God. Okay. I just said king of all simps, and it made me think about, I watched a second of Howard Stern, from home. What a disappointment that guy is. Biggest entertainment disappointment of my lifetime. One of my inspirations. One of the original men of the people. Biggest sellout disappointment of all time. He was interviewing Baldwin, and they're making fun of the Orange Man. It's oh my God. The Howard Stern of the early 90s would slap this Howard Stern. And oh my God. You know what? What's most disappointing about that guy is he was fake the whole time. He was just thirsty. I hate to use that term, but that's what he was. He just wanted to be a star. He wanted to be accepted by the elite and the stars. And once he turned his back on all y'all, on all of us. Hail Artie. Hail Jackie. Poor Baba Booey is the bitch he's always been. And Howard Stern is a huge disappointment. And it's sad. It was embarrassing to watch. I was like, oh, dude, just take your money and go. I mean, ugh. Oh my God, it was so disappointing. God, I cringed. Yeah, I used to love Howard. I did. Talked about his damn movie Private Parts too much. but I still loved him. IK1906 for $10. Gary, with creatives focusing on splitting and trashing their primary fan base, older men, exactly. I saw Cecil was talking about that last night. He's right. 35 to 50-year-olds are your fucking fan base. Deal with it. Aren't they marginalizing their female fans who also love these books as movies? Yes. Yes. When it comes to Doctor Who, before they did this woke shit, it primarily appealed to 30 to 50-year-old men and women, and they were getting their kids into it. And when you break the line of getting your kids in the stuff, I mean, they've completely forgotten about the parent-to-kid relationship at all. Like, they've just thrown it away. That's what kept comics alive for years. Dads handing it down to sons and daughters. Moms handing it down to sons and daughters. Yes, moms handing it down to sons and daughters. And they've just cut that. And that's why, I mean, this is it. It's a 20th century ideal almost. And this is the last. Generation X is holding this shit up. Millennials will not hold this shit up. Zoomers don't give a fuck about any of this. And it's done after us. They tried, but the thing is, there's a point where you got to go, okay, it's not working. It's not fucking working. Hollywood needs, thank you, Darth Sweeney. Thank you, IK1906 and Big Red Bear. Captain Spire, thank you for the $2. I appreciate you. Lady Greymaster for $2. Disney didn't get a bailout, though. Hashtag win. Not yet. Not yet. There will be more to come. But if they get tax credits on their shows, Lady Gravemaster, that's a bailout. Men of Troy for $2. Shout out from Santa Cruz. Have you brought my NR nerd? Men of Troy, just put in the chat. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure. Shout out from Santa Cruz. Have you brought my NR nerd? I don't know. Do I need to bring your NR nerd? Your nerd? Just respond in the chat. Hit @Nerdrotic. I have no idea what that means. But thank you for the $2. I love your content. It has inspired me to start my own channel. Right on. Thank you for dragging me into this. Dr. Crow, it's a good name, by the way, $4.99. You are quite welcome. And if you have any questions, just hit me up. Email me at Gary Nerdrotic. Say YouTube questions in bold. My email and my DMs are a mess. I'm trying to get through it. I'm doing the best I can, but it's just me. So thank you. But if it's important, follow me on Instagram. Contact Mrs. Nerdrotic. She'll get to me. Captain Spire for $5. Disney asking for $6 billion. Where have I heard that number before? Sandra Kuba said Disney's annual revenue was overestimated $6 billion. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh. Do you remember Sandra Kuba? You want to talk about a throttled video. When all of my videos were doing well, all of a sudden I did a Disney video that got 30,000 views. I think it was the last video that I did that got 30,000 views. Still a lot. That's still great. Okay. That's still good. I'm thankful for it. But it was about Sandra Kuba. Doomcock did one as well. And she was the one saying Disney was cooking the books at the parks who were being run by Bob Chapek. And now they need $6 billion. Whoops. Uh-oh. Given how much debt Disney's in with no income flow, they're in fucking trouble. I added the fucking. But I don't think a bailout's coming. I think they'll get bought out is my bet. No, I don't think a bailout is coming. But what I mean by bailout is nothing. They get nothing. They don't get tax credits. They don't get shit. They have enough money. And if Disney pissed away $6 billion, they deserve to go out of business or get bought. Because that's not real. That means we're propping up a fucking company that shouldn't exist, that's not profitable, so it's going to cost the taxpayers money more in the future, which means that it has to go out of business. And that sucks, and I'm sorry for the workers. But if the fucking people are propping up a fake company, just like The direct market being propped up for so long by Marvel and DC. And guess what? If it's a comic apocalypse, not just for the comic book shops, it's a comic apocalypse for Marvel and DC. Because if Marvel and DC aren't getting money from Diamond and they're not getting money from comic shops, I promise you, digital is a drop in the piss bucket, okay? Digital will not carry shit. Scholastic can't carry shit. That's fake money too. That's government money that's going to get weaned down because of the schools. Everything's going to get weaned down. I can see one of those big two possibly shuttering over this if it goes on too long, or completely changing their business model, which will end the industry anyway. This thing is based on on habitual buying, and this will have repercussions through all of comics. So I know we have a propensity, and listen, I'm happy too, to see some of the jackass creators eat crow. It's nice when people learn their lessons. But you know what? Jackass comic creators, that's happened to me too. I've eaten a lot of crow. My life has fallen apart around me due to my hubris, and I learned my fucking lesson. I hope you lose yours. But after being called Yahtzees for years, can you blame people for telling you, haha, F you? No, you can't. You can't. You don't get, you guys love to say this, you don't get to choose whether they get to forgive you or not. You don't get to shame them either, going, well, look at you when we're down. You know what? You were pissing on them for 5 years. How about you coming out and saying you're sorry? That's what ends most of this. Say you're sorry and be legit about it. No backhanded compliments, no Gail Simone bullshit offering olive branches. And it's the invitation's still open. She can come on my channel for 15 minutes to apologize to the fans. And I won't say anything. She won't, though. They pissed away $70 billion. You're right. You're right. Disney pissed away $70 billion. They shouldn't have bought Fox. The government shouldn't have allowed it. And now they might both go under. Given how much, thank you, Big Red Bear, for $5 and $2 there. There we go. All right. We got 2 hours. We're going to wrap this thing up. It sucks that it got throttled, but we got to 1,000 likes. I thank you all. This will be over on Nerdrotic Live in about an hour. Please like, share, and subscribe if you liked the video. If you didn't like it, hey, thank you for being here anyway. I appreciate you. I hope you're safe. Whether you like me or not, I hope you're safe. I hope you're doing well. I hope we all get out of this and we get back to the stupid culture war. Maybe this is it. Maybe some people are seeing the error of their ways. Maybe not. I hope so. We could just get back to good entertainment. That'd be nice. A lot of shows are going to be canceled. I mean, like, there's not going to be a lot to talk about except for, I guess they're producing comic books. So I will be doing retro reviews and stuff. I am hard at work on my Star Trek Picard review. Like I said, I've got, I think, here, I'll tell you exactly how much I've got going on it. 5 minutes and 14 seconds in. That's raw. No, 4 minutes and 19 seconds. No, 5 minutes and 19 seconds in. That's raw. And this is the introduction. I might have to whittle that down a little bit. Yeah, this is probably going to be like a half hour long. So that's the way it's looking right now. So I'm going to be working on it the rest of the day after I take my walk. Chances of Lucas buying Star Wars. P.S. Hashtag bring home Spaceborg. Bring home Spaceborg. Jedi Knight and Fred to Alita. What's up? Welcome. Hey, welcome back, Jedi Knight. Friend of Alita. Thank you for $2. Yeah, sorry that happened. Okay. But you know what? Things happen. We brush them under the rug. Welcome back. You're always welcome here. Hey, the thing is, I think there's a very good chance that could happen. I now think that is a legitimate possibility. The longer this thing goes, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Lucas buying Star Wars could happen. Sure thing. Don't take anything off the table, folks. Seth MacFarlane and NBC buying Star Trek. Now I'm open to it. Now I'm absolutely open to it. It could happen. Companies are in big fucking trouble right now. Marvel being sold off or pieces of Marvel characters being sold off, DC characters being licensed to Marvel. It's all up in the air right now. Why not? Why the hell not? Probably won't happen, but why not? I don't think there'll be a Marvel and DC crossover. I think that's the last thing on people's mind. Honestly, I think the big two corporations, AT&T and Disney, I don't think they're even thinking about the comic book industry right now. I think they're just going to let it die. And that sucks. I got friends out there, and I don't want you to die. I don't want it to make it sound like I'm in glee over this. I'm not. I'm actually bummed. I'm actually very bummed about it. I'm worried about my friends in the industry, and I hope you're doing okay, and I want you to survive. I want you to come out of this, and I want the creatives at Marvel to come out of this with some humility, shut the fuck up, make good comic books. I don't really care what you think about the world. I could give a fuck. And if you do have a real message that you want to get through, tell a good fucking story. End of discussion. You are a comic book you're a comic book writer and artist. Nobody gives a fuck. And it's because you worked for Marvel or work for Marvel. That's the only reason some people know your fucking name. So when you're Jerry Dugan and you're big timing people, that is a douchey scumbag move. Especially now, douchey Dugan. Grown-ass man doing that. You're not, man. You're not. You're a little boy when you do that. You're a boy. It's apparently he served. I don't give a shit. You do that to a customer. I don't give a shit if you served. I don't care if you got a Medal of Honor. F you. Don't treat customers like that. Sarah B. at the proto-molecule level. Thank you very much for being a member. Treat the customers with respect. And then you won't hear from me. Want to get rid of me? Treat the customers with respect. Okay. I'm bummed this got throttled, but it was fun. Thank you for being here. We had a lot of people here. This will be on Nerdrotic Live. See you next time. Thank you to the Modrotics. And please check out my last video if you haven't. And may the wings of liberty never lose a feather.